Man, oh man, are the Philadelphia Phillies having an exciting trip out west in LA against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, too bad here on the East Coast. These games are getting over at 1 o'clock. After 1 o'clock, we're either dozing off throughout these ball games or just flat out falling asleep and missing most of the game or the end of these games. But nonetheless, the Phillies took the first two games of this three-game road series out there against the Dodgers. Obviously, Monday night, that win, they clinched the National League East. They are division champions for the second consecutive season. They won it last year as well. Again, here in 2025 with a couple more games left to play here in the regular season. Tuesday night, 9-6 come from behind win versus the Dodgers. Again, to take two of the first three games of this tough three-game road series out there on the West Coast. Jesus Luzardo is scheduled to start tonight here on Wednesday for Game 3, trying to sweep the Dodgers in their home ballpark at Dodger Stadium. A very good, a very tough Dodgers team nonetheless. Phillies already won the series with winning those first two games, so even if they do drop this game here tonight, you still can't be mad that they went out there to the West Coast with some traveling issues, especially on that first game, to win a series and potentially going for the series sweep here Wednesday night. Another 10-10 local start. Obviously, they are 3 hours behind out there in LA, so another late night. Welcome to Phillies Daily, everybody. I'm your host, Mike Henley. Make sure you guys subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. Now, you heard of the Michael Jordan flu game. You may have even watched it, depending on your age. Was last night the Philadelphia Phillies hangover game. They obviously clinched the National League East, as I had just mentioned, Monday night. They were up partying, celebrating, bunch of drinking, bunch of champagne, bunch of beer, all that fun stuff Monday night in the Dodgers visiting clubhouse, celebrating a huge accomplishment by winning the National League East, not only this year, but for 2 consecutive seasons. You heard Kyle Schwarber in some of those post-game celebrations saying he's hammered. I'm sure a lot of them were. Hangovers, tough to battle and come back and play the next day. We didn't have all the starters in that ball game. Some guys had a rest, but there were still some guys out there, and obviously the backups and all that were still partying and having a good time as well. Monday night celebrating that division-clinching win. Now, I say hangover game because they were a little sluggish, a little slow to start that game, really throughout the first half of that game or so. They were actually hitless through the first 5 innings of that ball game last night on Tuesday. They had just one base runner through those 5 innings, and it was a walk that came in the first inning. The Dodgers brought in a new pitcher to start the 6th inning, and then all of a sudden, that is where the Phillies just broke out and their offense went nuts there in the 6th inning. Again, getting no hit through 5 innings, just a one base runner off of a walk way back in the 1st inning. No runs, all of that. Phillies just went crazy in the 6th inning. It started out with a ground out to start the inning, 1 out, and then 3 straight singles to load the bases. Dodgers at the time had a 4-0 lead. So the Phillies, again, were getting no hit. They were down 4-0 through 5 innings. It looked like it was going to be a rough one, especially coming off that division-clinching late-night celebration there in LA. But then 3 straight singles after that ground out to start the 6th inning. Bases loaded, 1 out. Bryce Harper comes up clutch with a 2 RBI double. Obviously, he had that big home run as well Monday night in that win. 2 RBI double for Bryce Harper made it a 4-2 ball game. And then Brandon Marsh, who's been swinging an excellent bat here really for the past couple of months, but especially as of late, he hit a massive 3-run go-ahead home run there in the 6th inning. Gave the Phillies a 5-4 lead at the time. Again, they were down 4-0 entering that inning, getting no hit. All of a sudden, flipped the switch, had a 5-4 lead there in the 6th inning. And then Max Kepler also having his best month as a Philadelphia Philly. He's really been swinging a hot bat as well here in September and really going back to the beginning of August as well, which is great to see. He hit a massive 410-foot solo home run there in the 6th inning. 2 batters later, after Marsh's big go-ahead 3-run home run, gave the Phillies an insurance run, a 6-4 lead, and they just went nuts there in the 6th inning. Again, as I said, now that has a lot to do with the Dodgers took out superstar designated hitter and starting pitcher Shohei Ohtani. He had the start for the Dodgers last night against the Phillies. Shohei Ohtani, obviously, he is just a phenomenal player, a phenom, you could say. Obviously, a two-way player for them. He was no-hitting the Phillies through 5 innings. He looked great. He allowed just that 1 walk in the 1st inning to Bryce Harper. And then other than that, no base runners, no hits, shutout through 5 innings. He was looking dominant. He only threw 68 pitches. He did have 5 strikeouts. So again, dominating the Phillies really. Couldn't figure him out. But 68 pitches through 5 innings, the Dodgers decided to take him out at that 5th inning. Obviously, he did not pitch to start the season. He's coming off of a little bit of injury. Didn't pitch last year either for the Dodgers because of it. So kind of, I guess, having him on a pitch count, limiting him here in 2025. He only threw 80 or more pitches twice so far in 2025. I think he's had like 13 or so starts now. Season high 87 pitches, just 68 last night against the Phillies, despite having a no-hitter through 5 innings and only allowing 1 base runner via a walk. So they decided to take him out at the 5th inning. Obviously, that was the wrong decision for the Dodgers. Now, Ohtani, again, I should mention, he had made it through 5 innings just one other time here in 2025. So, again, not really pitching deep into ball games here this year, coming back from that injury for his pitching arm and all that. But the Phillies will take it. They were glad to see Shohei Ohtani get lifted from that ball game after 5 innings because, again, in that 6th inning, they went crazy, took the lead, took a 6-4 lead after being down 4-0 and being no-hit through those 5 innings. 6-4 lead there. In the 6th inning, they had 6 hits, 1 walk, and 6 runs scored in that 6th inning alone. And again, took a 6-4 lead. So they definitely benefited from the Dodgers taking Shohei Ohtani out of that ball game after no-hitting them through 5 innings and really just dominating that Phillies lineup. So definitely benefited from that. I did see that I misspelled benefit. We will ignore that. But nonetheless, Phillies got very, very fortunate that the Dodgers changed their pitcher there and had that big 6th inning. Now, it did get a little dicey there at the end of the ballgame. It's going to happen when you're playing these good games. It's been a lot of diciness here late in ball games for the Phillies, really as of late. Either they're winning these ball games, they're holding on to tight leads, or they're even blowing games and coming back maybe in extra innings like we saw Monday night. But David Robertson, he got the save on Monday night to clinch the NL East for the Phillies after Joan Duran blew it there in the 9th inning. David Robertson got the save in the 10th inning. Not really the same success for the 40-year-old reliever here last night on Tuesday. He allowed 2 runs in the 8th inning. First, a Shohei Ohtani obviously had that great game on the mound. Shohei Ohtani, solo home run there in the 8th inning. That was actually his 50th home run of 2025. So just like Kyle Schwarber and Cal Raleigh of the Seattle Mariners, Shohei Ohtani is now in the 50 home run club here in 2025. It's actually his 2nd consecutive season hitting 50 or more home runs. Greatness again by Shohei Ohtani. So he hit a solo home run in the 8th inning, cut the lead, Phillies lead to 1. And then later on in that inning, the Dodgers hit a sacrifice fly to tie it up 6-6. And then an unlikely hero, Rafael Marchand, was getting the start for JT Realmuto last night on Tuesday for the Phillies. And he came up massive in the clutch in the final inning. He hit a 3-run go-ahead home run in the 9th inning to give the Phillies a big 9-6 lead there late in the ballgame in the final frame of that ballgame. And then Joan Duran, after blowing it in the 9th inning Monday night to the Dodgers, allowing a solo home run to tie it up, sending that game into extra innings. And then David Robertson getting the save in the 10th to clinch the NL East. Duran right back out there Tuesday night, and he picked up the save for the Phillies on Tuesday night. He got 3 straight groundouts to end that ballgame and picked up another save for not only his Phillies career, but his impressive 2025 season. Good to see him bounce back there. Late heroics by Rafael Marchand, and then obviously Joan Duran closing the door there for the Phillies out of the bullpen to pick up a save and get that 2nd win of this 3-game series, winning that series for the Phillies and going into Wednesday night ball game here, going for a big sweep of a tough Dodgers team. Now, sticking with pitching, Duran, but going back to the starting pitching for the Phillies. Last night, Christopher Sanchez was on the mound for the Phillies. Not necessarily his best game, obviously. He is one of the better pitchers in Major League Baseball this year and even last year. Definitely in the National League. With Zach Wheeler out, he's honestly their best starter. Even while Zach Wheeler was pitching before he landed on the IL, Christopher Sanchez was looking like the better pitcher, really, overall. Zach Wheeler had some struggles there before he landed on the IL, and Christopher Sanchez really has been consistent and dominant all season long. Just not very sharp last night for the Phillies in that win. He allowed 2 home runs in the 2nd inning. That was his third time, I should say, allowing 2 or more home runs here in 2025. One other time of those 3 times, including last night, was against the Dodgers. So 2 of those times against the Dodgers here in 2025. That was back on April 6th when the Phillies played the Dodgers. He allowed 2 home runs to them. But 2 home runs in 1 inning, very unusual, very uncharacteristic out of Christopher Sanchez. In fact, if I wasn't mistaken, I was kind of not paying fully attention, but I heard Tom McCarthy in the Phillies broadcast mention when those 2 home runs did happen in the second inning that it was just the 3rd time in Christopher Sanchez's career that he has allowed 2 or more home runs in the same inning. So again, very uncharacteristic, very unusual out of Christopher Sanchez. Hasn't allowed many home runs this year in 2025 overall. Again, just twice he has allowed 2 or more, or 3 times he has allowed 2 or more home runs in a ball game in 2025, and 3rd time of his career allowing 2 or more home runs in the same inning. So, not his best stuff. He also allowed a sacrifice fly in the 4th inning, which is why the Dodgers had an early 4-0 lead through those 5 innings before the Phillies had that big 6-run 6th inning to take the lead and really never looking back and winning that ball game 9-6. He did grind through 7 innings. Obviously allowed those 2 home runs in the 2nd inning, another run in the 4th inning, 4-0 Dodgers early lead. He could have been out of that. The game could have got out of hand, but he kept the Phillies in the ballgame. Those are the only runs he allowed in those 7 innings. He did allow 7 hits, no walks, which is always great to see. 4 earned runs and 6 strikeouts in those 7 innings for the Phillies. No decision for him because the Dodgers ended up tying it up later in the ballgame before the Phillies and Rafael Marchand came up with that 3-run go-ahead, huge, massive home run to essentially win the ballgame for the Phillies. But not his best stuff, but still kept the Phillies in the game, made it deep into the ballgame, going 7 innings. That's really all you can ask for. Could have got it out of hand, but it didn't, and the Phillies picked up another win, going for the series sweep tonight here on Wednesday night against a very good Los Angeles Dodgers team. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Phillies Daily. I'm your host, Mike Kennelly. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. Jesus Luzardo on the mound for the Phillies, again going for the 3-game sweep of the Los Angeles Dodgers in their home ballpark at Dodger Stadium out there on the West Coast in LA. Going to be a tough one, another 10-10 local start here for the Phillies, so get your rest and watch the Phillies try to go for a sweep and gain even more ground over the Dodgers in this playoff race in the National League, trying to keep one of those 2 top seeds in the National League for a first-round bye, which is massive for the Phillies because that almost guarantees home field advantage throughout the playoffs for them. They're still trailing the Milwaukee Brewers for the top seed in the National League, only a few games behind them for that entire home field advantage in the National League playoffs. So we'll see what happens. Thank you guys for watching. And as always, go Phils.